Kindness is the word that I think generally defines the current immigration policy of President Joe Biden. But kindness has failed to stem the tsunami of undocumented immigrants cascading over the southern border of the United States.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So what you just saw right there is former Fox News host Geraldo Rivera, just as unhinged, just as out of whack as he ever was, claiming that the thousands and thousands of people dying in our desert and the hundreds of thousands of people dying from drug overdoses is a result of a kind border policy. I'll tell you more about what he thinks, and we'll look at what I think as well. But guys, first, thanks so much to everyone that's been subscribing and leaving such great comments. Really appreciate the support. If you haven't already, help us to continue to grow. Like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. So guys, why is it that even in the face of undeniable evidence, liberals always believe that, and they'll tell you, that their way is the humane way. Their ideas are the kind ideas. When all you have to do is just look at a place like San Francisco. Their policies have destroyed the city. But more importantly, not just the city, they've destroyed the lives of so many homeless, disaffected drug addicts. And no one seems to care. The kind liberals, they don't care about that. The same is true for our border policy. I'm sure they feel all nice and they feel warm and they feel fuzzy. They feel like they're inviting people to this wonderful life in America that, ironically, they think it's the most racist and most unwelcoming place for themselves, but they feel fuzzy inviting other people to their own misery. Anyway, these people that come, they literally risk everything. They get assaulted, they get killed, they get taken advantage of, and if they survive the trip across the desert and they survive the rivers, well, then more often than not, they disappear into a life of basically modern day freaking slavery. And we're to believe that this current approach, this is the kind approach.
Kindness is the word that I think generally defines the current immigration policy of President Joe Biden.
And that's exactly my point, man. Because of liberal policy, because of kindness, liberal kindness, we've got 85,000 kids missing in the U.S. We've got who knows how many people dying in our desert. We've got cartels enriched and emboldened. We've got cities near or actually past financial collapse for picking up the tab. But at least the 30-something% of people who still support Biden, at least they get to feel like they're kind.
But kindness has failed to stem the tsunami of undocumented immigrants cascading over the southern border of the United States. Critics, in fact, argue that kindness has led to catastrophe. In various interviews, the migrants themselves cite the signals of welcome sent, perhaps inadvertently by the Biden administration. The 46th president vowed, for example, not to build a foot more of the border wall promised so fervently by President Trump. Biden made a show of cutting open the many gates along the more than 1,200 miles of the Texas-Mexico border.
Geraldo, man, that is not cruel. That's criminal. That is 100% dereliction of duty. That's completely against his oath to uphold the Constitution. And all it is virtue signaling. Virtue signaling that unfortunately comes at a severe human cost, man. It's situations like this that allow liberals to just feel kind without actually having to be kind.
The message he sent was unmistakable. If you can make it here to the United States, you can enter and maybe get to stay. Cruelty. In that one harsh word, cruelty defines what former President Donald Trump reportedly plans for his once and perhaps future administration's immigration policy if he gets reelected in 2024. First, Trump will replace kindly Alejandro Mayorkas, the first Latino to hold the job.
Guys, what the hell is Geraldo actually talking about? He's talking about replacing Mayorkas as if that's some sort of bad thing. He's also implying that somehow being Hispanic qualifies him for his job. What does that have to do with anything? And what's the problem with Stephen Miller? I assure you, he's probably about to rattle off the same tired old white supremacist fake narrative that we've heard a million times and never seen substantiated. And as far as Donald Trump and his deportation plans, guys, we've heard plans like that a gazillion times. They're just plans. And unfortunately, for a lot of reasons, they're never going to happen. These people are here to stay. Eventually, they'll find their way into citizenship and eventually they'll be voting. Honestly, if Republicans had half a brain, they would start the ground game right now and start explaining to these good, hardworking, decent, predominantly Catholic people the real agendas of the Democratic Party and the real desires of these woke revolutionaries. Because I promise you, if these people get as concerned as they should be about their own children in the hands of Democrats, well, they will never, ever become vote blue no matter who type of people.
As Secretary of Homeland Security, he's going to be replaced with a man I think looks and acts like Dr. Evil, Stephen Miller. You remember him, the former aide for immigration policy to Donald Trump. Miller has in mind a kind of Operation Wetback. That's what they call the draconian Eisenhower-era policy that prioritized deportation.
I called it. We saw that coming. Obviously, that wasn't a difficult one. I knew he was going to have some sort of hyperbolic and hollow, scary words to talk about Stephen Miller, but he had nothing to do with any prior administration or any racist term used by a president in the 1950s. Geraldo, what is the issue with prioritizing deportation? What is the issue with having deportation? If you're here against the law and you are not supposed to be here, then you shouldn't be here, man. It is that simple. This is not a complicated thing. This is not a race thing. This is not, a race thing or a xenophobic thing. You're either supposed to be here or you're not. Every single country on the planet deports people that are not supposed to be there. And we are literally the only ones that consider this some sort of evil.
An estimated 1.3 million were tossed out during the 1950s in what was the largest mass deportation in American history. Now, because Trump believes migrants are poisoning the blood of our country, he vows to even be tougher than Eisenhower and to exceed what Eisenhower accomplished.
Come on, I'm a little disappointed, man. Geraldo used to be better than this. And now he's just literally peddling leftist propaganda. Donald Trump, nor anyone reasonable or serious, ever said that immigrants are poisoning the blood of anything. And here's an idea. When we're on this topic of deportation, why don't we just do deportation for people that hate this country? Why can't we, if you're a angry white liberal who just hates the United States, you can leave. If you're a hardworking immigrant from wherever and you love this country and you're happy to be here, then you could stay. But all you Portland humanities professors, sorry, man, you got to go.
According to reporting by the New York Times, which has not been denied by the Trump re-election campaign, he plans an assault on undocumented immigration on a scale unseen in modern American history.
All right, man. So obviously, that's just typical leftist hyperbolic nonsense. This is just typical scare tactics. It's not going to happen. They're trying everything from the old playbook over and over and over again. Just a couple days ago, Trump called people who would say things like this, honestly, people like Geraldo, he called them vermin, which I happen to believe within that sentiment. He's absolutely right. But because of the many, many millions and millions of people who have used that word in the past, one of them was Hitler. Because of that, now there's stories in every lefty magazine, every goofy channel, even comments from Biden, and this nonsense gets proliferated by all these morons on the internet, half-witted liberals, whatever they want to call themselves. They all believe, and now they're explaining to each other that Trump is out quoting Hitler. And before that, he called a sworn enemy of the United States smart, so he was out supporting terror. I mean, every couple days there's some new and ridiculous garbage. Not one of them any more real than Russiagate, not anyone more real than Bountygate. Yet, just like those cases, these mushy-brained morons, they still continue to believe every word that gets repeated to them. And worse than belief, they spread it to each other. Anyway, it's just insane. It's just insane. I thought you guys would appreciate seeing what Geraldo's up to. Been a while since you've seen him on the 5. That's just my take, guys. Let me know yours in the comments. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.